So guys, I'll be giving you an overview on Mahout, and we'll be looking at very fundamental use cases specific to machine learning, which you guys might have already known, the most popular machine learning use cases, and algorithms in Mahout. We also spend some time what types of algorithms Mahout supports as of today. And since it's still in crawling state, I would say, so it has got a lot to do. There are people, open source community, working over the Mahout to add more and more features as well as algorithms as part of the Mahout guys. And Mahout commercial usage, then Mahout summary, and we are going to look at supervised and unsupervised learning today. However, most of you are from machine learning background. I hope you guys definitely understand all these things. But let me try to cover this at a high level. So probably for part one alone might definitely help in the session. And introduction of clustering and classification. I'll give some fundamentals of clustering and both classification as well once we discuss about supervised and unsupervised learning techniques. Then similarity metrics. We'll cover today, both similarity by correlation as well as similarity by distance. So we'll see where similarity by correlation will be utilized and similarity by distance will be used. Finally, we'll end our discussion today by covering distance measure types. So there are various distance metrics available in Mahout, up to around 6 distance metrics. So we will look at all those different types of distance metrics, and we'll try to understand what the difference between each of those distance metrics and how we can actually leverage on those distance metrics at different situations. Okay. The first section will be mostly covering the fundamentals of machine learning. In the second section, we'll start with the fundamentals of Mahout itself. We'll try to understand where the Mahout has been originated and certain, what all the types of algorithms it supports, and what's the difference between Mahout and other learning tools. All these things we'll try to cover in the second section. And please don't worry. Few guys, since you're all from a machine learning background, I'm sure that certain topics will definitely may not be of very much interest of yours, because you guys might have already familiar with all those things, guys. So this course is, however, designed for a layman who doesn't actually come from the machine learning background. So please be patient. Definitely there is a lot which you guys should learn within the upcoming 8 weeks. Okay. Sure, guys. So let's start with first Mahout's overview. Guys, Mahout basically has originated from a couple of frameworks. One is mainly Lucene. So Lucene is basically a text mining engine. Using Lucene APIs, you can actually build a text searching and indexing using the Lucene framework. So as part of Lucene and as part of the text mining, they have developed certain learning techniques inbuilt within the Lucene framework itself, like as simple as certain clustering techniques over the text data sets. So however, later adding certain other algorithms, keep adding to certain other algorithms to the Lucene framework, like recommendations engine, then the community felt that there should be a new, entirely new framework designed specific to the machine learning itself. So that's where the origination of Mahout has come. And also another interesting part about the Mahout is not only it is tightly coupled with Lucene, it also can run over the Hadoop clusters as well, Hadoop environment as well. So the ability, the good part of Mahout is it has the ability to actually run over the Hadoop cluster, and most of the algorithms which have inbuilt as part of Mahout are already been parallelized. So you don't need to do anything for running it in parallel way. You just have to run it over the Hadoop cluster, so that uh, it can actually process the data sitting over your HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, folks, in parallel. But however, you don't need to worry that it's whether it's tightly coupled with Hadoop. I would say no. The reason behind that is it has got implementations in both the ways. Either you can run algorithms in a standalone machine if you are dealing with small data sets, or else you can run the Mahout within the Hadoop cluster if at all you are dealing with large data sets, guys. So that's the advantage using Mahout, folks. So Mahout has begun its life in 2008 as a sub-project of Apache Lucine's project, and which provides the well-known open source search engine of the same name. Basically, Lucene is a open source search engine framework to mine the text, and Lucene provides advanced implementations of search, text mining, and information retrieval techniques. So this is specific to Lucene itself, not really towards the Mahout. So it has got very advanced techniques especially for searching. So the way you can build the searching framework over the versatile data sources, like say documents, could be any format, it could be CSV format, it could be PDFs, okay, it could be plain text files, even it could be the databases also. So it doesn't have any restrictions, by the way, but the way it enables the searching, Lucene, is basically it does something called as indexing over the given data sets, and using those indexes it is able to actually offer you a searching infrastructure over the data sets which you provide to the Lucene framework, guys. Also, interestingly, Lucene has some server called as Solar. Using Solar, it's very easy to really build the indexes and start searching your data sets, guys. Instead of directly using the Lucene framework and where you start using the APIs by learning the APIs and all. And however, we'll be covering certain APIs specific to Lucene as well within the upcoming sessions, especially into clustering. Especially when we discuss about clustering techniques. But however, as I mentioned, that Solar is another server where basically without using any APIs, you can straight away through some GUI you can be able to index the available data sets and start searching over that data sets, guys. And it's used for text mining basically. So you guys can withdraw certain patterns within your text, either by applying clustering or certain other simple learning algorithms within the Lucene, and information retrieval techniques. So basically, it can also act like an information retrieval system over the text data set, guys. And in the universe of computer science, these concepts are adjacent to machine learning. So mostly text mining kind of concepts are text mining, searching, information retrieval, even though they are not directly machine learning stuff, I mean excluding text mining, but still these are the concepts which are really close towards the machine learning techniques. So let's try to understand the origination of Mahout, how Mahout is originated. So basically the roots of Mahout are into Lucene and as well as Hadoop also, guys. So since it runs over the Hadoop, so that's where the new project has come into picture, which is Mahout. Okay. So today our main topic of discussion is going to be what is machine learning and can really a machine learn and how to do it. Okay, so guys, what is machine learning, folks? So machine learning is as simple as I would actually, define machine learning in such a way that making the missions capable of simulating the human-like decisions could be treated as, machine learning. And can a machine learn? Yes. There are different ways through you actually make a machine learn. For example, you can apply statistical modeling techniques to make the machine learn out of your input data sets. And how to do it? Yes, using the statistical modeling techniques or machine learning algorithms, definitely we can be able to build intelligent systems rather than the static machines which just perform the arithmetic and mathematical operations, guys. So, however, one of the interesting books I usually prefer to read is by Tom Mitchell. If somebody is interested, I'm sure that most of them are from machine learning background, but a few folks like Parthipan, I would recommend you guys to go through machine learning by Tom Mitchell. So that's a very interesting book, and it has got a very good foundations for the machine learning algorithms, guys, and the basics of machine learning as well. Okay, so let's try to understand what's so special about the Mahout. Okay, so I can see some question from Sham. Okay, sorry, Sanjeev. Okay, so the name of the author is Tom Mitchell. Let me quickly ping in over the chat window. Okay, so it's Tom Mitchell for machine learning. But however, this is not related to Mahout, guys. This is specific to machine learning itself. But it's a great book to understand the fundamentals of machine learning. And the other book I would recommend, if you guys are interested, will be Mahout in Action. This is specific to Mahout itself, guys. So their Mahout in Action book basically does not speak about the machine learning algorithms itself. Rather, it will be mostly towards the Mahout. But this other book which I have recommended, it's purely specific to the machine learning itself. Okay, but not towards any tools like R or whatever. So though they'll actually cover certain fundamentals there as well. Okay, so yes, so machine learning is basically programming the computers to optimize performance criterion and using examples, data, or past experience. So there are different ways basically to define, machine learning. But to me, I would actually, as I proposed, I would define machine learning is as simple as making the machines capable of simulating the human-like decisions can be treated as machine learning, guys. So machine learning is basically a branch of artificial intelligence and systems that learn from data, classify the data after learning, and learn on test data sets. And generalization, the ability to classify the unseen data sets, also is part of machine learning. So this will be covering in detail when we start with the clustering and classification algorithms. Nice. Okay. So folks, what is all about machine learning? Mahout. So basically the difference between other tools like R, Weka, okay, and certain other tools when compared to Mahout, the major advantage using Mahout is Mahout has inbuilt scalability. When I say it is when I say it has inbuilt scalability, it means that most of the algorithms available in Mahout already have been implemented in such a way that they can scale across the Hadoop clusters to process massive data sets. That could be a bottleneck for other tools like R or Weka or certain other tools. Okay, but that's the most advantage using the Mahout. And the other thing I would like to add is, so using R or Weka, these kind of tools, So you have to have really statistical background, or you have to come from mathematical kind of background so that you guys can apply those uh, apply the algorithms using such tools. For the development teams, like say people coming from the Java kind of background, it would be really hard for those guys to actually leverage on R or other tools like Octave or these kind of tools. But here, since it's a Java framework, it's as simple as learning APIs and just using those algorithms within if you know the APIs, even if you doesn't know the algorithms how it's actually work, but still you will be able to use the APIs to apply the learning techniques over the datasets, guys. It's as simple as just invoking certain APIs. So especially for the development teams, it's I would say this is the first step to make the machine learning very easy for them to understand and apply the learning techniques over the datasets, even though they are not from mathematical background, I would say. So Apache Mahout is an Apache's project, and to produce open source implementations of distributed or otherwise scalable machine learning algorithms. So distributed or scalable machine learning algorithms focused primarily in the areas of collaborative filtering, clustering, and classification. So these are the major areas of learning algorithms implemented in Mahout. One is collaborative filtering, classification, and clustering, guys. So when I say collaborative filtering, it is nothing but a recommendations framework, often leveraging but not limited to the Hadoop platform. So even though the algorithms will run over the Hadoop, but it's not a limitation, still you can run the algorithms directly on your standalone machines without setting up a Hadoop cluster itself. Okay, both the ways you can actually run the algorithms, guys. But our primary area of focus will be running algorithms over Hadoop. There were certain cases where we actually run in standalone machine as well, since few algorithms, very few algorithms does not have parallel implementations, guys, because those are very hard problems to actually parallelize. Those are very hard to be able to parallelize. So that's why those still have few algorithms like SGD, stochastic gradient descent, doesn't have the parallel implementation in Mahout. Not only SGD, SVM, support vector machine, and few other techniques we'll discuss which does not have the Hadoop support. Okay, the Apache Mahout project aims to make building intelligent applications easier and faster. So as I already mentioned, since it's a Java framework, it'll be very easier for any Java guy to actually understand the APIs and invoke the APIs and start using the APIs. And Mahout co-founder Grant Ingersoll introduces the basic concepts of machine learning and demonstrates how to use Mahout, okay, to do clustering documents, making recommendations, and organize the content. So very interesting stuff about the Mahout is, since it's been born out of Lucene, it inherits all the capabilities of Lucene, guys. Especially when you are working with text datasets, it's really worth to leverage on Mahout compared to other tools also, since Mahout has inbuilt support for Lucene framework, and you can be able to easily run the text mining techniques, guys. Even compared to that of other problem statements, for text, definitely Mahout is going to be a right fit for you. So 3 specific machine learning tasks that Mahout currently implements are, so at a high level, so all the different algorithms can be classified into 3 different types specific to Mahout. So one is collaborative filtering, which is the recommendations engine framework, and clustering and classification. So these are at a very high level. Don't worry what is clustering and classification. If somebody is not from machine learning background, we'll get into those details soon. Either today anyhow we'll not cover most of them, but we have dedicated sessions for clustering and classification. We'll first understand what is clustering and classification, what is recommendations framework. Then we'll proceed towards the algorithms, guys. Okay, so guys, any questions so far? So please feel free to ask me if you guys want to speak, and please feel free to key in your questions immediately when you guys have anything. Okay. So Sham says, do all the three techniques work only on text data, or can they take numerical data as well? Good question, Sham. Yes, it's not restricted only towards the text. Okay, you can actually use numerical data sets as well for mining. So it's and also images as well. You can be. There are no great implementations to process images in Mahout, but still there are certain specific algorithms like streaming k-means. Then there is something called as Eisenkot's clustering technique, so through which you can still be able to process the images, but I would say that they are not so great, but still there are some fundamentals, I mean some basic implementations, I would say, to process images as well. And since Mahout is still at evaluating phase, so there are actually lots happening over the Mahout, and both Spark framework also. Spark is gaining interest even in a more phase compared to Mahout. But however, since it's still under evolution phase, so it will take time for getting some more and stable algorithms into Mahout framework. But however, don't worry, it's not again that basic also, because it has got powerful capabilities to actually process the text data sets and implementations for various algorithms into all these three categories. I'll introduce you guys to what all algorithms Mahout has and what are we going to cover in this course as well. So just some heads up about the machine learning again. Machine learning is a class of algorithms which are data driven. That is, unlike normal algorithms, it is the data that tells what the good answer is. I mean, that's specific to machine learning again. And this, you guys can see that face recognition system is over to the right and here, and you guys can see that an hypothetical non-machine learning algorithm for face recognition in images would try to define what face is. So whether the face is a skin-like colored disk, or what dark area, which is dark area, and where you expect the eyes to be, etc. stuff. So through which the machine learning algorithm would be able to detect whether a given image is a face or something else. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So guys, there are various domains where machine learning is really a way to actually bring out intelligence out of the data sets. So for instance, if you look at the domains, you have aviation is one of the domain, retail and e-commerce, social networking, healthcare and security. Okay, if you look at the aviation, there are so many, I mean, aviation is one of such domains where the data has been captured from multiple sources. It could be social media, it could be the schedule information, it could be OND data, origin and destination, and many things. In fact, the data is generated by the flight itself. Okay, to analyze such massive data sets being generated throughout the world, you need definitely a parallel computation system to scale your algorithms, and definitely algorithms like implementation frameworks like Mahout really come into picture to process such massive data sets, guys, specific to aviation. And yeah, you guys can actually look into some company called as DO. DIIO. So DIIO actually stands for data input and information out. Data in, information out. So this is the company mastering in aviation specific analytics. They are the vendors for most of the airlines, throughout the world. So they have partnered with some top companies specific to the airline analytics, and they do run lots of analytics guys, and companies like say Amadeus, or companies like some other companies, they actually target agency specific analytics as well. Not necessary that always it has to be airline specific analytics. Okay, and you have retail and e-commerce. I am sure pretty much everyone know about the retail and e-commerce specific. E-commerce is, however, one of the major domains, I would say, which uses machine learning techniques extensively. Okay, like say recommendations are one of the core techniques which most of the e-commerce actually use, and they have inbuilt into the systems like Amazon, Flipkart, or Myntra. Any e-commerce company for that matter, they do lots of analysis of their data sets. They do real-time and as well as batch analytics, both using Storm, Spark kind of frameworks. They do real-time analytics, and using Hadoop, they actually perform the batch analytics as well. Hadoop and Mahout, they actually perform the batch analysis as well. And social networking, however, there are a lot many use cases specific to the social networking. If you consider, say, social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, so they have got different use cases to different problems to solve with. For instance, if you consider, say, Twitter might want to understand the trends within the tweets being posted within the Twitter application, and that has to happen in real time again, folks. And probably Facebook might want to understand users' interests, or for instance, LinkedIn might want to identify LinkedIn might want to do the recommendations based upon the user's activities over the application, over the site itself. Okay, so they mostly depend upon a lot of data, either clickstream data or either the activities users performs, based upon the activities users perform over the application itself. And healthcare, so healthcare is also another major domain which depends on lots of applying the machine learning techniques. For instance, if you look at the latest trends within the healthcare itself, healthcare has something called as prognosis. I'm sure everybody would have heard about diagnosis, but there recently it's been popularized. Prognosis is getting more and more popularity. Prognosis is basically, it's a way to predict the health status of a given patient upfront before actually the patient can get into such situation. So through analyzing lots of data, through analyzing electronic EHR data, electronic health records, through analyzing the mammogram images taken for the patients, and through some other sources also, they do lots of prognosis to predict the diseases for the given patients. Not only for prognosis, there are so many other areas in healthcare, like analyzing the genes. So genomic data is very huge basically in nature. Each gene sequence could be around 2 to 3 terabytes. So to analyze such large data sets, they have to really use scalable environments like Hadoop and Mahout to process such massive data sets, guys. And finally, not but the least, so security also. There are a lot many use cases in security. They might do URL class. They might build in security domain. They can actually build a system to detect whether it's a spam or ham message, or whether they can actually build URL detection system. It's basically to detect malicious URLs compared to that of the benign URLs. So many such things, malware identifying, the malware specific analytics, a lot of such things can be possible in security. So not limited to these domains again. So there are so many other domains which either directly or indirectly depends upon the analytics folks. Okay, so guys, any questions so far? Are we clear? Yeah. Okay. I think pretty much everyone is clear so far, so let's move on, guys. So let's slowly crawl into Mahout framework other than just talking about the machine learning always. So yes, Mahout, how does it work? So let's see. Apache Mahout uses Hadoop MapReduce as its core framework. All the algorithms have been put into MapReduce. That's how it actually achieves the scalability over the Hadoop cluster. Has many supplied algorithms. So Mahout has already built-in algorithms. We will see what all the built-in algorithms are available in Mahout, and support 4 use cases at a high level. So it supports 4 different use cases. One is recommendations mining, which is recommendations framework, and clustering classification and fixing item similarity. So item set mining. So basically it's item set mining. It's not fixing, sorry, there is a typo over here. It's frequent item set mining. Okay, so consider if you consider a retail store might want to understand the frequent items being sold as part of the baskets. So to mine such frequently sold items, so they can use certain algorithms like frequent item set mining, specific algorithms within the Mahout. So there is something called as FP growth, which will be used for doing mining this frequently sold items as part of baskets, guys. So Mahout applications. So there are various applications of Mahout. It can be applied in genetics. It can be applied in pattern mining. Also is possible classification, clustering, recommenders. So it has got some APIs, like it has got utilities. All the utilities specific to Lucene can be accessible by Mahout. Math, vectors, okay, matrices, SVD, singular value decomposition. So all these things are already part of Mahout, guys. So collections, it has got primitives as well as built-in data structures at times. Specifically when we work with the recommendations framework in Mahout, it has got a customized data structures built to understand to mine the users' interests towards the products, or either way also it's possible. So we'll discuss that in the recommendations session, especially the last 2 weeks. I mean, the last 2 modules of the session are dedicated for recommendations framework and Apache Hadoop. So these are all part of Mahout ecosystem. So machine learning is all over the web today, and MapReduce magic is in action. Since Mahout depends on MapReduce, so all the capabilities of MapReduce are already part of Mahout. And Mahout is about scalable machine learning. Mahout has functionality for many of the today's common machine learning tasks. Even though Mahout is not directly compared to that of R, where you can find thousands of packages within the R, and almost everything is possible using R kind of statistical tool. Since Mahout is still at early stages, it has got most frequently used or most commonly used algorithms being implemented, and it's been evolving to have a lot of complex things as well. Yes.